Okay, year 7 and 8, and hello and welcome to your new series of work which will take us from now up until the end of the school year, and we're focusing this time all on your comprehension skills, which is all around how you read and then how you understand different texts. So it's all about your understanding of what you read and reading for meaning. So this will massively help you in all aspects of English moving into year 8 and year 9. Of course though, as with every lesson, we need to start with a knowledge retrieval. Now this knowledge retrieval, we've got 2 questions from the persuasive writing topic and 2 questions from all the way back when we were in school, and we were looking at analysing different texts such as the Kraken, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, if you're in year 8, Othello, all of those brilliant texts and how these techniques were used. So question 1, what is a rhetorical question? Question 2, what is a modal verb? Question 3, what is pathetic fallacy? And question 4, what is a connotation? Pause this just here, give yourself 5 minutes and write down your answers. Then we'll move on to the next slide and get those checked. Okay, so hopefully you've got an answer to all 4 questions. Let's see how successful we were then. So, knowledge retrieval quiz answers. Question number 1, of course, a rhetorical question is a question which does not require an answer but leaves the reader thinking. Now remember, of course, we know that that is very persuasive. If we leave the reader questioning and thinking the subject, about the subject of the topic. Number 2, a modal verb is a verb that expresses necessity or certainty. So must, should, could, will. They can be very persuasive. You must act now. You will pick up that pen. They can create a very persuasive, forceful tone. Number 3, of course, pathetic fallacy is where the weather sets the mood of a text, the tone of a text. All about how the weather impacts on the mood and tone of a text. And number 4, if you're in 7x5, I hope you have not forgot, because you promised me you would never forget. Of course, a connotation is something you think of when you hear a word. Give yourself a mark out of 4 and let's move on into our new. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our new series of work. And we're, of course, as I've said, looking at comprehension. And comprehension is really simply our understanding of a text. So it's all about reading for meaning. It's that when you read a text, what do you understand from that text? What meaning can you take from that text? Now, of course, effective comprehension requires a level of something called inference. And inference is where we read between the lines to work out meaning. So you might infer, if you come into my classroom and I'm sighing, that I am tired, fed up, have had a bad day. You might infer, okay, if you hear somebody shouting, that they are angry and upset. It's about reading between the lines to work out the sometimes hidden meaning. And that is what this whole series of work is all about. It's all about developing your reading skills, developing your ability to read for meaning, and ultimately developing your comprehension skills. So as I've said, it's all about your reading skills, your ability to read and understand. It's really important because the more effectively we can comprehend the texts that we read, the more effectively we are able to analyse them. And there will be 4 comprehension lessons in total. They will get gradually more challenging. So make sure you watch them in order. You can see here this says lesson 1. Then of course lesson 2, 3, 4. If you watch them in order, the skills gradually build. So you can start to see your comprehension skills and your knowledge and your understanding gradually getting better. For each lesson, watch the video lesson, then answer the comprehension questions, and then email them to either me or your classroom teacher. So 8Y4, your classroom teacher is Miss Christie, so you would email your answers over to Mrs. Christie. Right, okay, so let's get into our first lesson. Okay, so this extract that we're going to look at in this lesson and that we're going to focus on trying to comprehend, understand and infer meaning from is from The Wind and the Willows. Now, The Wind in the Willows is one of my favourite novels ever, but, okay, this novel, which is about a group of animals who live on the banks of a river, has recently been turned into a musical and a play. And this scene here is from that version which has been adapted into a musical screenplay. So, really important, you will have been sent these slides via either post or via the Sims portal from Mrs. Christie. So please make sure that you are reading along with me. Please remember to use a ruler as you read along, okay? And I'm going to read it to you now. But please don't forget year 7 and 8, just as if you were in class, using that using that ruler to read along. Okay, scene 6, a courtroom. The judge pops up from the Wildwood chorus. Toad, you have been found guilty on the clearest evidence. First, of stealing a valuable motor car. Secondly, of driving to the public danger. And thirdly, of gross impertinence to the rural police. The latter being the most serious of your numerous crimes. Here! Be quiet, you nincompoop! Begging your pardon, my lord? Quiet! The clerk also pops up next to the judge. But, Your Honour, I said quiet! Yes, Your Honour. Now, Mr. Toad, is that your real name? These are grave offences. You do understand that. Oh, yes, Your Honour. Nothing clearer. I am, of course, most dreadfully sorry. Some of these crimes are unforgivable. I didn't mean to steal. I mean, it wasn't really stealing. Not that. I understand that you verbally abused this officer here. Oh, I didn't mean it, Your Honour. He called me a... Quiet, you nincompoop. I'm quite capable of getting the details from this whiffy frog. Toad, how dare you? Never have I been spoken to in such a manner. I think he was referring to Mr. Toad, Your Honour. What? Oh, right. It was only in jest. That's no excuse. No one, whatever their rank, should take the name of the law in vain. Now, what did you call him? I called him he said I was a... Quiet, you nincompoop! Now, Mr. Toad. Oh, I called him a nincompoop. Okay, so hopefully you followed along with me as I read through that extract, okay? Now, this bit you're going to do independently. Now, you will see on the version you have been sent that my questions, my comprehension and inference questions here, are colour-coded to the bits of the text you need to look at to find the answer. Now, you are going to do these independently, okay? And then you are going to submit the answers to me or Miss Christie if she is your classroom teacher. So, number 1, using your own words, summarise the crimes that Mr. Toad has committed. Number 2, looking at the quotes highlighted in orange, how would you describe the judge's attitude to Mr. Toad? Number 3, why is the judge offended by the police officer, looking specifically at the bit highlighted in blue? Number 4, how do the stage directions, remember a stage direction is an instruction on how something should be performed, help us to understand the text, and why do you think there is silence at the end? And then finally, number 5, looking at the whole extract. How does this extract that I've just read to you, that you've just read along with me, how does this make the judge look like a fool and a little bit stupid? Okay, you've got to look at the whole extract to get that. Okay, write down your answers, take your time. This should take you about half an hour to answer those questions. Okay, And then you need to write your answers in. You can do them on paper, you can type them, and then you can either take a photo of them and send them to me or Mrs. Christie, or you can email them over to us. Good luck. Now, what have you learnt this lesson? You have learnt what comprehension is, what inference is, and what a stage direction is. All of that brilliant new knowledge from this 10-11 minute lesson, okay? And you will have developed independently your skills by completing the work. So massive well done. Have a wonderful week, and I will look forward to speaking to you all with our next comprehension lesson next week.